Good morning. Morning, folks. Happy Friday. Ash, David, Leon, John, hope you guys are well. Fun stream today. It's the giveaway stream, which I always like. Unfortunately, not giving away a 50k FTMO, but we are giving away 200 bucks. Thank you, Leon. Appreciate that, mate. I've decided I'm wearing my, I'm going to make a tradition of making this my NFP shirt, my good luck shirt. So yeah, happy Friday, lovely day. And let's get into the market. So I'll go through the markets, I'll go through the trades, and then we'll go to the prize given at the end of the stream. Morning, Audrey. Right, so let's go into the first trade I've took before I take into the SPX, NFP, etc. So Euro Aussie, the inaugural, is that the right word? Yeah, inaugural trade on the aggressive entry. I know some people might say, is this early? Is this not early? For me, I'm absolutely fine starting this. You know, I know the strategy. I have been working on it for 7 months, and yeah, absolutely happy with it. And you know, I was just getting trades to get to that 20 mark, but for me, I'm pretty happy going at this live, and yeah, so I'm in it, and it's starting from now, which is very exciting. And it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being excited with the strategy as long as there is data. And there is enough data there. I've got enough knowledge. I'm experienced enough to know that the edge is there, and I'm happy to go on with it. So let's hope for some big winners. New Zealand CADs in the future. Remember, we are expecting a lower win rate. The good thing about doing this live is you guys kind of understand the strategy as well, because you've been here and watching me go through the testing phase of it. So, yeah, we understand that it's a lower win rate, but we also understand that it's a higher payoff ratio. So, i.e., your 10% are certainly going to be more likely with this than right now in terms of the breakout and the breakout retest. So, Euro Aussie, confluence there. We've got our head and shoulders on the daily. It's something that I looked at before. I took it off while we were coming down, and now it's obviously back on the list. So, if I zoom in, it's a counter trend idea. But it's a counter trend idea with merit. We've got some confluence here in the monthly with the monthly hammer. Daily is nice. As I said, we've got our head and shoulders here. I'm personally looking at our cup with handle A, B, and our bullish engulfer coming on high volume at C wave. Very simple setup. As I said, it is counter trend, but with the way the risk sentiment is, remember, Aussie is a proxy for the Chinese economy. Obviously, China in lockdown because of COVID. With that risk sentiment, I think this absolutely makes sense to me. I never take a trade where I don't think it's going to be a winner. Obviously, that's not always the case, but I always I'm always confident in my trades that they are going to win. And now it's a waiting game. So we use the SAR. We have one trade in. Obviously, this doesn't matter now until we break through the area, because then what we're expecting is the SAR comes underneath and we just take it out, hopefully. Hopefully it does this. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Once the dot appears at the top. Very similar, very simple. The SAR, as I said, I do like it because it takes the emotional side out of it. And even if we potentially get a little bit out of it and we come back here, we're out of it, that's fine. But I like the trade, and I like the idea of it. Euro Aussie to the upside. Euro Aussie to the upside. Okay, the markets, NFP today. And NFP today, I think, is a big number. You know, with where this market is, as I said in the morning, I think it's teetering here. I should have stuck with my initial gut feeling of SPX spike up down and DXY spike down up. And that kind of seems to have come into fruition here from yesterday. So this is key. You know, we know it's a key area. We move back to the weekly chart. You know, we're here at where we had support before. So this is why I think NFP is really interesting, because there's no real impetus into this market. There's nothing here that's giving any confidence to investors. And certainly if we come out weak today, or you know, I have to go, I haven't even checked what they're expecting, but around expectations, I don't think it's really going to push this market. Obviously, if we have a good beat with the fact that inflationary concerns have been calm in terms of interest rate policy, we could see. It's always important, as I said, to wait for the market's reaction to the news. I just think this is it's teetering on the edge here. Now, from a positive in what you guys should be thinking, hopefully you've learned something since you've been here is you should be not happy. Happy is the wrong word, but you should be looking for an opportunity, not from a trading perspective, but from an investment standpoint of buying up this index. You know, from a longer term view. You think about the COVID drop, right? Obviously, you know, up here in terms of your reason to enter would be your dark cloud cover on the weekly, right? And obviously that moved quite well. And we should be thinking the same thing. We could now be potentially doing this. You know, although we thought this was here, ABC, we didn't kind of follow through. So this could be B wave, if I remove this, here, and maybe we come down for C. In which case, yeah, looking at buying up even stocks, good value stocks, your Amazons, Googles, etc., which have been hit, your indexes, makes absolute sense to me. You know, so for me, and the way I'm looking at it is, if this keeps coming down, which I still think it does, you know, I'm looking at the idea of doubling my money in a year or two, which it's great, right? It's great, really. Depending on obviously how far this goes, but you should certainly be looking from a longer term investment to be buying up this SPX, in my personal view. So, yeah, 4 hour does look slightly bearish. Our big V reversal here. The market is risk off, and the bias at the moment, depending on what happens with NFP, the NFP could trigger the obviously both ways, up or down. But with the power of the trend, I could just see us falling through this. It's a support zone. And then what happens? You know, market will be a little bit wobbly, and we'll have to see what happens over NFP. So it's an interesting position. Dollar again, very similar to SPX. We had that initial reaction, and then it was bought up on account of that safe haven flight to cash potentially. Again, with NFP, we can look at this various few ways. Personally, if we come out weak, we could get that negative reaction out the USD and then a strengthening up again, very similar to what we saw here in terms of that flight to cash. But the trend is up. It has had a decent corrective here, and it could move. So be aware of volatility. But path of least resistance is up, and I think dollar continues in that vein. Obviously, an outside bullish engulfer here on volume yesterday. It has corrected okay. You know, I would like it to correct a little bit more, but it is looking to be breaking above the highs. So, yeah, I think dollar strength continues. Despite what is obviously coming out today. So, SPX down, dollar up is my personal bias. Okay, watch list today. Well, we've got a few things on the list. Obviously, Euro, Aussie I've done. Swiss yen is the first one. Swiss yen on this 4 hour, in terms of a breakout, is starting to be okay, right? We've got our V reversal. Obviously, this for me is not enough. So I need a little bit more digestion here. If I'm going to look at taking that break to the downside. Probably something we'd have to look at next week. What I'm specifically focusing on is a potential breakout retest here on smaller time frames, right? It looks a little bit cleaner, obviously into that corrective. Looks as if we're potentially breaking out now, depending on what happens as London opens. But price action I'm looking for is essentially this: breakout, retest, movement to the downside. Swiss yen playing, you'd expect the yen to be the major beneficiary of a stock market fall. I know the Swiss will strengthen up as well, but your yen is obviously the major risk-off currency. And it is a counter-trend idea, but something that I do like. So Swiss yen potential shorts. Euro Aussie I've done. Swiss yen I've done. Pound Swiss here on the daily is starting to come back and actually coming back really nicely. If we take the context as a whole, I was specifically looking here in terms of our head and shoulders V reversal. But we can look at it from this section as well. You know, we can look at that. Either way, all of this is good. We saw the UK market drop a little bit. Again, this is important, even though I had UK 100 on my watch list yesterday. Remember, I'm not taking any trades. This is, you know, what I'm looking to happen. It's not what I'm predicting to happen. So anybody new out there watching, I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just what I want happen in order for me to take a trade. because ultimately that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if I predict everything right and I make no money from it or lose, right? So all I care about is price action that I want to see in terms of my strategy. So I thought about this as an aggressive. It's not really an aggressive. It's a little bit too climactic into there. Obviously, we've got a wick to the downside. But if price action does come down, give us a little bit of accumulation in that 20-period catch-up. It's still the daily chart, so it doesn't matter if it's a 4 hour or daily. I still need the same thing in terms of that accumulation prior to a potential break. Risk off supports it, and pound Swiss potential to the downside. Again, another one that does make sense to me. Does make sense. What else have we got? Pound Swiss, pound yen. So notice how all these setups are coming in, these risk off pairs. So pound yen from a daily perspective is there as well. You can see it. And also from a 4 hour perspective, looking at this larger V reversal. Again, second structure, first structure, second structure, coming into this area. Potential, if we do this, if we come down, tag this area here, get a slight reaction. Obviously not as major as we did previously, which is the essence of that squeeze into the zone. Possible aggressive in here on a pullback, and looking for a potential break to the downside. So pound yen, another one for potentially next week, maybe the end of next week, depending on how price moves. And daily's the same. Daily's the same. We can look at these on both time frames. Pound yen again supports the risk sentiment that we are in. And finally, US 30, the Dow. Dow here, we've created our basing structure. Okay, for me, I'm just taking this as our basing structure. So again, this has got a little bit to go, but I thought I'd put it on the list as we kind of gear up to potentially taking this. What I'm looking for, because of our bearish 180, obviously a very bearish day yesterday, I don't think this is going to come. I don't think we're going to get this because of NFP out today, unless we get a slight reaction, unless NFP is a kind of non-event, which absolutely could be. Yeah, I'll be looking for this to accumulate or slightly reload in here for a potential break on the Dow to the downside. As I said, I don't think we get enough from a daily perspective. I don't think we accumulate that much because of what's coming out. But I like the idea of it, and I thought I would put it on because there's something there. There's certainly something there, and going with that trend. So US 30, potential shorts. Right, that's really what I'm looking at today. Anything you guys want me to look at before I move on to the $200 giveaway? Anything you guys are looking at? I don't think I got any trades in the chat. GU, yeah, the dollar just massively strengthened up, massively. And again, you could just. I think the safest play is selling those risk-off assets. It makes sense to me. I can't see anything. And really with NFP, I don't really see any massive positivity coming in. A big beat, which I'm not expecting, would obviously be good because, prior in previous NFPs, I think that inflationary fears was obviously at the top of everyone's mind. Now that they've kind of calmed, that would be the best case scenario, obviously. But I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I'll let you type, David. Oh, yeah, Bitcoin. The short idea, yeah, I mean, that's just going with the trend. Unfortunately, it didn't give me enough to get in on it, but it's broken and closed. This is important. It has closed underneath this key area, which it hasn't done previously. So what we at, 36.4 now. Yeah, Bitcoin looks short. As I said, I am looking to buy it up. I still am. I'm not worried about it from a longer term perspective. Very similar to the SPX and buying up those indexes and good companies from a longer term perspective. It's the same with Bitcoin. So yeah, no reason to buy it up yet. And maybe that 30K still comes in. You know, it does look bearish. It's quite healthily bearish as well. We're not climactic as sometimes it does do. Nice pullback in here. Okay, we had a little bit of accumulation, not enough for me to take it. But yeah, looks good to the downside. All crypto looking short. Everything's looking short, right? Everything's looking short apart from the yen, the Swiss, and the dollar. So, yeah. Okay, let's get into the giveaway because that's what we're here for. And it was difficult this month. There's been a few very close ones. I wasn't sure who to give it to, but one of the winner, who's kind of come back into the community quite recently, been with us for quite some time, posting charts and interacting, which I always like to see. That's that's kind of what I want here. I want it to be a nice, close-knit, small community of everybody helping everybody, and he's back in. So the winner of the $200 giveaway this month is Griffey. Well done, mate. I know you're not here right now. I'll post the chart on the or I'll post a picture on the chat a little bit later on, but as I said, Griffey's been with us for ages, and just coming back in over this $200 is for the last month, and posting charts, commenting on charts was I always like to see. So there was a few that I was going to give it to, but I think Griffey this month just took the edge. So well done, Griffey. Well deserved, mate. And I'll send you a private message to collect your winnings. So again, remember, guys, next month we'll be doing it again, $200. For the $200, just so everybody's clear and everybody's watching, you don't apply for it. It's just, if you're posting ideas and I see you interacting, you're on streams. I notice everybody that's on streams a lot of the time. Yeah, it's just a give back to you guys to say thanks for being part of the community. And the 50K, we are hoping to give away one of them next month, as long as people are ready. So if you are ready, there'll be another giveaway next NFP. Yeah, and that's about it. That's about it. Right, anything else? Any charts you guys are looking at before I go and then go off, enjoy my weekend? I don't think there'll be any trades, potentially Swiss yen, but I don't think that comes. Pretty happy with being in Euro Aussie right now, to be honest with you, and watching what happens to the market in NFP today. So I think it's 4:30. Is it 4:30 UAE time? I believe so. So just be aware of that volatility. Right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. It's all looking up. It's all exciting. New strategy, new potential trade management. Oh, shit, sorry. I was going to show you this. Sorry, I'll show you this before I go. 1 second, guys. I'll show you this before I go. I wanted to talk about the thing I sent in yesterday. Where is that? One second. Okay, yeah, I wanted to talk about this first, because I think it's interesting, right? I think it's interesting. Obviously, we've got to take, at the moment, we've got to take this with a pinch of salt, right? Let me just move you up in case you're asking any questions. Up here. So we've got to take this data with a pinch of salt, but I think it's already quite interesting. And what I was talking about yesterday is the very basic algorithm for trading strategies is the higher the win rate, the lower the payoff, right? The lower the win rate, as long as you've got a profitable strategy, the higher the payoff, right? So it's interesting to see on a very small sample size that rings true. So it's always important to note that when you see people saying 5, 6R on a trade, blah, 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 we're expecting that they're going to have a lower win rate. That's just basic trading, unless they have the Holy Grail, which I do not believe exists, but that's important. On a very small sample size, we can see this. Right, so the trades that I analyzed, a lot of these were recent trades. I didn't put pound New Zealand in. I just put pound Aussie because I don't want these results to get too skewed the other way. Obviously, as I go on, we will continue to populate this so this data becomes more and more accurate. But what I found was interesting in these 8 trades, again, these are all trades that we took apart from pound Aussie, but that should have been a trade that I didn't take. But I think it was important to put this in there because it shows you like when winners do run, and I don't fuck up basically. So the original trade management, again, 10.95%, 75% win rate, and 2.49 payoff. Again, these numbers will come down, but I'm just gonna show what's happening here. So my initial, and this is a good thing about doing this type of analysis, right? And it's something that you guys should do as well on your personal strategy, right? I thought this may have been one of the better options, right? In taking full off at 1 hour, which actually turned out less so, right? Okay, yeah, the win rate was the same in terms of these 8 trades, but it's actually not as profitable to do that. What I do think was interesting, well, firstly, if we look at this, the full swings on the 30-minute latest anchor, right? You're obviously getting the most percentage, right? But, you know, a very low win rate, a 12.5 hour payoff ratio. Again, these will go down, but let's just say this is true. Where what we have to understand, even if this comes out, let's say this comes out slightly better than other strategies, I don't think I would employ this because personally, you know, you're losing, nothing. You make a big winner. Okay, it looks a little bit better there. But it's whether, for me, I want to kind of have that lower win rate, and I don't think personally, unless this blows everything out the water, right, unless this percentage of full swings, 30-minute anchor blows everything out the water, I don't think I would change it from a psychological perspective because, again, you're going to go through time remembering that this strategy is still selective, right? So this might be, you know, a month before you get into that or a month before you get a decent winner. Or 2 months, you know, you never know. So again, you got to think about your psychology and what you can handle. What I like so far is this. Sorry, this seems to be really nice, right? The 50% 2R, i.e., we take 50% at 2R from our 30-minute anchor. So we've got 30-minute, which is obviously a better risk reward than this originally. But you take 2R off. I like the idea of taking partials because again, your win rate kind of increases. And then you've got your better risk reward and you go with the swing, right? So with a swing seems to be better than using the SAR right now. So that's also at the moment quite important to note. So this is really good to do. You know, it's really interesting to find, you know, and once we come to seeing what is the best option, what's the best option for me personally. For example, if you like the trading, the strategy, you might say, well, do you know what? I like this, or I like this, or I like this. You know what I mean? It's trade management is a very personal thing, but it's good to kind of see the data on a trade management perspective because it just shows the massive difference. I mean, look from here, from 8% to 32%, that trade management makes. So strategies, there's so many profitable strategies, but trade management can honestly take you up another level, and obviously that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I put it into the general chat, David. I'll put it into the general chat, and I'll keep sharing it as I update it. But I just think it's really, you know, interesting, and yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards, at the moment, we obviously need more data, because, you know, we're getting, in terms of our ones that come back down, you're still getting 2% out of them, right? Right, and what's also interesting is, apart from New Zealand Swiss, right, with the original trade management, everyone that has lost, right, here, right, you're -2, you got a -2 here, but with the 225 and a -2, and we actually made 1.8, right? So it shows a difference in terms of what we're doing. Obviously, the big winners make a big difference. You're 6.4, 2.5 to 4.6. There's only one of them, and like I said, that we made money on this original trade management, but didn't on this. And that's, you know, and in this one, we only made 0.25% compared to a -2. So again, it kind of, you know, getting this data is really interesting. I think it's important. But yeah. So here it is, David. I'll show you it here. As I said, we need more data, and I'll do this forward testing. But I put it up in general chat, I think. Yeah, just here. So you can download it there and have a look through properly of the results. But yeah, need a 20 or 30 to kind of get a rough idea of what we like. but I got a feeling it will 99% be changing my trade management in the coming months. Maybe after summer, depending on how much data we get. Right. Any questions on that? Any questions or any comments on trade management stuff? No? All right. All right, guys. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. And take care. Peace. Trade safe.